Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I'm John with Projectnortheast, and if you clicked on this video, you're probably wondering, okay, let's skip right to the end. What's with the clickbait? Why did you title the name of the video like that? It may surprise you, it may not, what I named this video and why I did. So just stick around, give it a chance, see what you think of the video. Flame on in the comments if you want at the end, but give the video a chance, and I'll let you know those final thoughts in the end of the video. But for now, we've got the all-new Trek Fuel EXE right here. Or is it right here? Can you tell the difference? One of these bikes is the Fuel EXE, and then the other one is the regular Gen 6 Fuel EX, which if you've been a fan of the channel for a little while, you may have seen my video on the Fuel EX Gen 6 and how it was one of my favorite bikes of last year, and I even built up my own for my own stable to ride as a trail bike every day. This video is focused on primarily the Fuel EXE, and it was my first ride on an e-bike ever. I've pedaled around parking lots, whatever, but this demo bike I've had for a couple months now. I've put it through its paces. I've ridden everywhere with it. We're stationed up here at beautiful Arrowhead in Claremont, New Hampshire, kind of doing this intro here and the final thoughts all at once. And you'll get the original experience, and you'll also get a long-term review of what I thought about this bike and why I named the video Why I Hate E-Bikes. I've got a lot of saddle time on the Fuel EX Gen 6, which, if you guessed right, this is the regular, and then this is the e-bike. I've got a lot of time in the saddle with this bike, so I know the characteristics of it. I know it pedals and it corners like almost no other bike I've ridden before. It just pedals and corners so good. So with that said, what did I think of this Fuel EXE, and what characteristics are different on the e-bike versus the regular bike? Let's go find out. All right, following Look Free to Shred, Tortuga. He's on a taser. I'm on the Fuel EXE. Oh yeah, boosted it! Woohoo! Yeah, that was sick. 6 floats, really good. All right, so I got the camera pointed down at the down tube because I want to just go over the statistics so far. I did 1 lap, fully charged, 100%. I do not run, I'm not running the extender battery. I did 1 lap, 520 to 540 feet of vert over, I think, a couple miles, mile and a half. And 1 lap in boost, 500 feet vertical feet got me 15% battery usage. So now I'm partway up a 2nd lap, and I am running it in trail mode now. You can see right there, I'm in the middle bar. That's trail mode. And I've dropped about another 8% so far. It's kind of cool. You can scroll through. You can see your miles. You can see your wattage output. You can see what you're putting out and what the bike is putting out. So that's pretty cool. And you scroll back, speed, and then back to battery life. All right, lap 3. We're gonna go down GNCC again. Now that we know the trail, know the bike a little bit. Woo! Falling 2 tasers, which are friggin' big bikes. This trail has a lot of option lines. Oh, this is cool. Ooh, landed right on that root. Took it up though. That's good. Boom, boom. Ooh, bike's pretty capable. It's fun. This is a large, so it's pretty long. You ride that rut, baby. Send this one a little long. Oh yeah. Don't do that one. Give it the beans on this one. Yeah. Woo! The thing that's screwing me up at the corners is I think the weight and the length of this bike. It's one size too big for me. All right, so doing 2 more, skip the last climb, and may look like I'm trail riding, but I'm on the climb right now on boost. I found, like, in trail mode, 500 feet of vert, 1.5 mile climb was like 11% in trail, and then about 15% battery in boost. And I got plenty of battery left on the amount of laps that I'm gonna be able to do before dark, so I'm like boosting it. So it looks like I'm riding, but I'm actually climbing. And this thing just excels at, if it's flat and you can put down the power, like the cadence of a road bike or whatever, holy crap, it just gives you that wattage, and it's pretty awesome. Whew. So one thing I'm noticing is, like, this has a lot to do with cadence, you know, which I didn't think of because, you know, forgive my ignorance on e-bikes, but to stay in that power band of the motor, you almost kind of have to have a high cadence and drop the gears and shift. Whereas I'm used to, like, just giving it extra wattage, and I would think extra wattage would give me extra power, right? But it seems like there's a happy spot of I can give it 200 watts of my own power in a low cadence, and it'll give me power, but it doesn't seem like it's going as fast and giving me the full power. And I'm in boost right now, by the way. But if I'm like right now, okay, I'm gonna speed my cadence up and drop a gear, it almost acts like it puts the motor in full speed. So that's just something to keep in mind. Little drop right here. Big step down here. Yeah! Huh? Damn, I love that trail. All right, so if you've made it through this far in the video, what you've all been waiting for is why I named this video Why I Hate E-Bikes. I mean, there's a few things I want to go over first, right? Let's get one thing straight. People that say you get just as good a workout on an e-bike, you know, I can just ride twice as many trails in the same amount of time, you know, as my buddies or whatever, you're basically lying. Like, let's just get right down to it. Let's get to the facts. There's nothing to do with getting as good of a workout. If you're running this bike, yes, it's a lot of fun, but you're not getting as good of a workout, because the temptation is, for me anyway, I'm in decent shape and I can ride this bike, get a good workout in 2 hours, do 3,000-4,000 feet of climbing. This bike, I could probably do about the same, 3,000-4,000, 5,000 feet of climbing, maybe a little bit more. But honestly, I'm gonna put it in boost mode, or I'm gonna put it in trail mode. I'm gonna have that cadence of the motor helping me, right? Because my initial impression of an e-bike was the more torque I put into it, the more torque that the motor would give me. Well, you know, never ridden an e-bike. I didn't know that, yeah, you have to be in the sweet spot of the cadence for the motor to give you actually the output, your full output of the motor. So with your cadence that you're running a high cadence, and it's giving you the maximum output of the motor. It's not matching your watts one for one. It's basically just having that sweet spot of the motor, which I kind of wish that the e-bike honestly would be more towards what I thought it was. The more torque you gave it, the more torque it gave you. Kind of like that would be in my mind that you could get just as good of a workout with an e-bike versus a regular bike if that was the case. But it's not. All right, we are up here at beautiful Arrowhead in Claremont, New Hampshire. Just giving you one last run on this Fuel EXE before I give it back. Just give you some thoughts, comparisons. Now, I know the people probably watching this video might be wanting it compared to other e-bikes, you know, but I'm not gonna go there because I don't know a lot about e-bikes. Because I haven't really ridden them much. This is probably one of my first real experiences with the e-bike, and what I'm going to do is just compare it real quick to the Fuel EX Gen 6, which this bike is obviously very similar. So my Gen 6 weighs 32 pounds, all built up, kind of pretty trail worthy, not necessarily enduro worthy, no inserts, anything like that, but the climbing ability obviously on this is amazing. But what I would say for this bike and the riding characteristics, the best way I can describe it is a portly Fuel EX. You know, it just feels heavier, but the weight is low. So as you saw down in Kanuga, thing just jumps so good. Feels like you're riding a Fuel EX. And I mean, the Trek bikes are so intuitive anyway that they just jump really good out of the box. And this one does the same exact thing, just a little heavier because it's an e-bike. All right, we'll see you at the top for some descending and some final descending thoughts. Going down Waka Waka here. This kind of trail gives a lot of like good variety, rock drops, jumps, and you can kind of see some of the capability of this bike. Boom! Nice little 4-foot flat right there. Nice big drop coming up here. Woo! Yeah! This thing is very capable. Like I said, the only thing kind of holding you back is the tires, I think. But yeah, I mean, descending capability just feels like a heavy Fuel EX on the ride characteristics going downhill. So if you've got the chance to ride one of those and you don't have the chance to ride one of these, that's kind of how you can compare it. Drop, drop, jump, jump, jump. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, this bike's a lot of fun. Ooh, it's got good characteristics going downhill. It takes all those hits really well, just like the Fuel EX. I'm always surprised by that bike. It just handles and it sends. Woo! And it just like there, it's so balanced in the air. So let's check out the spec on this bike. It's got the RockShox Deluxe Ultimate on there in the rear. It's got the Lyric from RockShox e-mountain bike version, I guess. And with every Trek bike that I've been finding lately with an XT build, they've been doing complete XT builds from start to finish. You get XT drivetrain, you get XT cassette, you have the E13 cranks with actually pair with the motor, you have an XT shifter, you have XT 4-piston brakes, which are honestly fantastic, and you've got the RSL one-piece bars, and then you've got the Bontrager Elite dropper seat posts, and you've got the Bontrager Line Elite carbon rims. This bike is spec'd pretty well from stock. I don't think I would change anything other than my usual gripes from Trek, which would be the horrendous dropper post lever, which would get swapped out immediately. The Bontrager tires, they do not hold up, in my opinion, to what this bike is capable of. And I have a really hard time running these bars. I can't get the stem length I want. I get the rise I want. I ended up going with, on my Fuel EXE Gen 6 build, my preferred setup, race face turbine stem and high-rise bars. So with that said, the spec is really good out of the box, and everything just works. Why I hate e-bikes. I rode this e-bike for, quite a bit. And the one thing and the main reason why I hate e-bikes, specifically this Fuel EXE, is it makes me want to have another bike. It makes me that N+1. I want this bike to be in my stable. Why? Because it makes everything easier. You can do more laps without going crazy. It's 42 pounds stock. It doesn't weigh 55 pounds. It handles most of the trails that I want to ride. And honestly, in southern New Hampshire, it makes those cross-country biking trails, I don't like calling them mountain bike trails, but it makes them fun again. You can just go out and pedal a 20-mile ride, and even the climbs are fun. You can get the speed going that you think that these trails should have. Even if you're on a cross-country race bike and you're pedaling your butt off, this thing can maintain the momentum on these trails with the uppy, downy, and aroundy that we love to call cross-country mountain bike trails in southern New Hampshire. It just makes everything fun again. And then there's the other aspect. It's an awesome tool. I use this bike in the spring. The biggest thing that I like to do in the spring is we're doing the April challenge. We're riding 30 minutes outside every day in the month of April for Team Grid at Mountain Bike Challenge. And that's a Strava challenge that started years ago. But I like to go out, get my 30 minutes and be like, you know what, I'm gonna go out and pedal 30 minutes, but I'm gonna do some trail work while I'm out there. So this bike made that so much easier, so much fun to be able to put my backpack on, put the chainsaw in there, grab a rake, whatever tools I need, and go out and pedal up, in the pouring rain with, a rain jacket on and pants, and not break a huge sweat making it up to the trails to maintain them, do trail work, everything else, and then bomb down and have fun on the way out. So those are the big reasons why I hate e-bikes. It makes me want to have another bike in my stable that I can just pull out as a tool, as a trail work tool, as something that, my legs are beat from riding 2 or 3 times a week, doing, review videos or doing whatever. It's just a way to go out and I don't have to go buy a lift ticket. I can just go out and ride this on my local trails, and it's a blast. So that's the other reason why I hate e-bikes. So could I see myself owning just this bike, just the Fuel EXE in my stable? The answer for me right now, where I am in my life, is no. I have a Fuel EXE Gen 6 regular. I have a Trek Slash. I'm not going to be carrying this up mountains on my back to be able to get to the good gnarly terrain in the Northeast. I'm going to be riding my Slash. It's lighter to carry up. I don't want to be carrying an e-bike on my back. And it doesn't give me any benefit because it doesn't help me climb those unclimbable climbs because they're unclimbable. You're going up rock steps like this and stuff like that. So for me, it doesn't benefit me. And then the Fuel EXE, it does what I need it to do locally. It keeps everything fun, keeps the trails, in southern New Hampshire fun for me. It pedals really well, descends really well. I can still do jumps, drops, everything I want to do, but it's actually a really efficient pedaling bike. So would I see this in my stable as a one bike? Probably not. The other thing is the price. It's $8,700, which is a lot of money for a bike. The only thing I don't know about this bike is if you could remove the battery system and stuff like that. In that case, it might make it more appealing as a one bike. If I wanted to just ride it as a, you know, acoustic bike, take the battery out, drop a few pounds, have it probably be the same weight as this, other than the motor, which isn't much. But a 35-pound Fuel EXE without the battery in it, that might work. It might work. But it also gives me hope to where I'm in my 40s right now. When this bike is revisioned years in the future, it gives me a lot of hope to where when I'm a lot older and I can't maintain that fitness, my joints are killing me, you know, I'm worried about my blood pressure, my heart rate, and keeping that in check and stuff like that. These bikes, I think, will be the future. You know what I mean? It just, as much as we hate to say it, I think it will be. And it actually kind of gets me excited to where, you know, when I'm a lot older, probably 20, 25 years from now, I'll be able to go out and do laps with the guys on the mountain and stuff like that and do 3, 4, 5 laps without worrying about killing myself. These bikes allow people to get out, and those kind of things I appreciate about them. So if you're in the market for the Fuel EXE, I haven't found much about it that I don't like. And it's light, it pedals awesome, it gives you a lot of power. It does have the added battery for the bottle that you can get, you know, 2 to 2.5 hours of ride time out of it. But that's what gives me hope for the future. And that is why I hate e-bikes, specifically this bike. I know, you know, you give a glowing review on a bike, but then you say you hate it. And it's like, yeah, because I can't afford another bike. And it makes me want to have another one. So if you enjoyed this video, hit that like, hit the subscribe button. If you enjoy the videos that I do, I don't do anything with, you know, affiliates or anything like that for the most part. But if you want to throw me some support on Patreon, just any support is greatly appreciated. And peace out. We'll see you on the next review video. Thank you for watching.